So you are around 28, 29, maybe just turned 30, and your life suddenly feels like this weird pressure cooker of responsibilities, breakups, dead ends, or just this intense feeling that you should be further along by now. Well, according to astrologers, not scientists, just astrologers, okay, that might be because you are going through what is called your first Saturn return. I am Nadia, the astrologer for people who do not necessarily believe in astrology but enjoy it a great deal. And today I am talking about what that is, why so many people have an emotional meltdown at the age of around 29, and how supposedly this age is actually designed to help you turn into a proper grown-up person, even if it doesn't feel like it while it's happening. No jewelry today because serious topic. So, you don't have to believe in astrology for this to be interesting. I don't want you to believe in it, but I want you to think of it as a symbolic way to understand one of life's most famously weird transitions, which to my knowledge doesn't really have any other name. It's not a quarter-life crisis, it's not a midlife crisis. It is your first Saturn return. And people who are going through it know that it absolutely is some sort of a crisis. So let's hear from astrology, a field that actually has at least a name for it. Now, Saturn takes about 29.5 years to orbit the Sun and return to the same spot it occupied when you were born. That moment, give or take 1 year or two, is called your first Saturn return. Again, you are around 28, 29. Saturn in astrology is the planet of adulthood, boundaries, reality checks, responsibility. It's not here to hand out freebies, it's here to grow you up. If the moon is your inner child and or your caring mother, Saturn is your inner super adult. And if you've reached your first Saturn return, Saturn has just moved back into your life to have a word with you. Saturn returns are said to last around 2 to 3 years, so it's a whole new chapter in your life, and a very important one at that. A lot of people report that the years around 28 to 30 come with intense experiences like major breakups or divorces, career change or career dead ends, family drama, health scares, depression, financial hardships, or just this existential whisper of, am I wasting my life? Did you know, by the way, that the age at which most people attempt to run a marathon for the first time is 28, 29? Look it up. It's something like that, definitely. And I think that it has something to do with this Saturnian pressure. Astrologers see this as Saturn returning to you and saying, listen up, you've had your fun and you were very naive at that. Now let's get real. Now let's do something difficult. Now let's do something that will actually count. And if you've built your life on something unstable, it could have been the wrong job, the wrong relationship, the wrong dreams. Saturn doesn't gently suggest changes. It rips things down. A Saturn return can be a brutal life experience. But here's the twist. This is not punishment. Saturn isn't here to destroy you. It's here to give you something solid. It just has a brutal way of doing it. Let me give you myself as an example. At 28, I was saving up to go study to Canada, specifically to the McGill University, which I still believe is one of the coolest universities on earth. But that dream gave me life. I was excited, I was inspired, I was hopeful, but suddenly my daughter's father got very sick and everything collapsed. I couldn't go. Instead, I stayed at home and I was reading astrology to cope with worries and disappointment. It wasn't just him getting sick. There was a whole set of dead ends and disappointments in my life at the time in almost every area, if I think about it. And I didn't notice it at first, but at some point, reading horoscopes as a self-soothing thing turned into studying astrology seriously, which I still do right now. So fast forward maybe 1 year later, I ended up on an astrology retreat in Italy, learning from Stephen Forrest, who I still consider to be my astrology teacher. So no, I did not go to school in Canada, but I did end up traveling and learning, just not the way I planned. And by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm 41. I have just attended another one of Stephen's seminars in Athens earlier this year. And before that, I moved to Germany and I finished a master's program in neuroscience. I wouldn't have been able to finance my move and my master's program if I didn't take on astrology back then. Anyway, this is classic Saturn return, astrologically speaking. Your old plans are blocked, but if you stay connected to what truly lights you up, something new and meaningful can still grow. So here is the astrological version about how it works in general. Again, you don't have to believe this, but it's a surprisingly satisfying way to look at this moment in life. Before 28, you dream big, you expand, you try everything. It's a time for experiments and idealism and for training your muscle of living. At around 28 to 30, your Saturn return happens. It is a reality check. All delusions fall away. You realize what doesn't work anymore, and you have to rebuild in one or maybe more areas of your life. It's not easy, and it's not supposed to be easy. And this is where the muscle of living and hoping and aspiring to something that you have trained previously would come in handy. Now, after that, 30 to 36 years is harvest time. If you faced what you needed facing, this is when you start to feel grounded, respected, clear, and surprisingly powerful. So here are some common Saturn return themes. Number one would be relationships. You might break up, or you may finally commit to a relationship, or you may realize that being alone isn't the worst thing and that staying with the wrong person is worse. A relationship itself may also need work. Whatever it is, you need to be real about what's real. Number two is career, also the usual suspect. You could switch paths entirely or double down and make it real in your field. Saturn doesn't like fluff, but it loves real skill, it loves hard work, it loves mastery. Doing more work during this time is very common, whether it is overtime at your job or combining working full-time and caring for children. Number three is health and body. Saturn is the grown-up planet. So suddenly you are buying a better mattress, getting your teeth checked, or investing in your posture. Welcome to adulthood, and have fun watching all of the comedy content that is dedicated to this aspect of adulthood. Number four is self-worth. One of Saturn's favorite tricks is to whisper, "You are not good enough." And your job is not to agree. Your job is to prove otherwise through effort and not through affirmations. The only thing that Saturn understands is work, effort, actions. There is no way around it. If you want to feel like you are worth something after you turn 30, do the work. Okay, and here's some random Saturn approved advice, which if you are around 29 and struggling, you may find meaningful and actually helpful. 1. Throw out what is no longer essential. Physical things, emotional grudges, social connections. Saturn is a minimalist planet. It can make your life easier if you have less in your life. 2. Stop waiting for motivation. Do the hard thing anyway. 3. Do not fake positivity. Be real and stay committed even if you're grumpy. 4. Choose tired, over depressed. This is actually a line from Stephen Forrest, my astrology teacher, which he keeps repeating. It's something like, during your Saturn return, you get to choose between exhaustion and despair, and exhaustion is generally considered to be a better option. And two other frivolous recommendations. One is wear metal jewelry, metallic, any kind of metal. It's supposed to strengthen you. And also get into houseplants or gardening. That's because both of them require you to deal with the earth, with the soil, and that is super Saturnian. So I'm not doing a sign by sign in this video, but if you are around 28, 29 and would like for me to talk about what Saturn return means for you and for your sun sign and for your rising sign, leave a comment below. If there is enough of those comments, I will record a video about what Saturn return would mean for people of different signs in 2025 and 2026 when Saturn is in Aries. Now, if age-wise you are not quite there yet, so if you are in your early to mid-20s, build a life you care about. Saturn respects effort. If you plant good seeds now, you will have way fewer things to rebuild later. And fall properly in love with what it is that you love about life. This will also help you get through this more difficult time. And if you are over 30 looking back, see if you can reframe what was happening to you back then as Saturn's way of helping you to get real. Reflect on how you survived it, what you've learned, and what Saturn made you do. That's the Saturn return, at least according to astrology. Is it real? I am not here to convince you. But I do think that there is something helpful, even healing, about this idea that your late 20s aren't a breakdown, that they are a threshold, an initiation into full adulthood. And let me know in the comments, are you going through your Saturn return right now? Have you already been through it and you lived to tell the tale? If you want to explore the Saturn return in your birth chart, I offer personal readings, all linked below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe forgive Saturn for the chaos. It might just be shaping the very best grown-up version of you. And see you in the next videos.